everyone, I'm June the Happy Thai Girl. This week on Spanish Fork 17, I'm taking you to China for some Chinese chicken chow mein. It's so easy and so yummy. That's coming up next on Cooking Made Easy with June, brought to you by Macy's, the happy shopping store in Spanish Fork. Hi, welcome to Cooking Made Easy with June. Today we are making chicken chow mein. Honestly, I go to Panda. My kids love Panda Express. And especially on New Year's Eve, we would go get the noodles and I would make my own stir fry because I'm just a little picky. But then the noodles are like, sometimes it's just a little, well, it's very oily for me. So then I decided to start making my own chow mein. So, but today we're doing the chicken chow mein. And of course you could leave out the chicken if you just want to do the chow mein that they serve with the other dishes. So I already have some water boiling. And now in the Cantonese call this chicken chow mein. So they go chicken chow mein, but we pronounce it chow mein. So anyways, so there's different, as far as I know, there's the kind of noodles that you can get that is like the raw noodles, and it's fresh noodles, I guess, and it's in the Asian store. But most of the time, you can just go to Macy's and you can get these dried chow meins. Now, the difference between the fresh noodles or the fresh chow mein, I guess you have to like steam it and then pan fry it. But this one is already steamed, but then it's dried. So all I need to do is follow the package instructions, and this one requires boiling water, and you boil for only like 3 minutes. So that's not bad. Oh, look, it even comes with a little, I have not used this brand before, but at Macy's it's soy sauce, and it has here Cantonese with some Spanish writing on it. I'm guessing this is the flavor packet, but we're not going to use the flavor packet. We're just going to do our own. Oh, there's another one. So I guess you could try that also. That was like a giant ramen packet, huh? So anyway, so the water is boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here for 3 minutes. All right, so make sure you have enough water to cover it. So I'm going to set my timer so I don't, let's see. Okay, I'm going to have to, like, I just got a new oven and I don't know how to use it. So I'm just going to have to look at the 3 minutes on the clock. Or maybe we'll have one of the guys to set it for me. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, so we're boiling the noodles. And then we're going to, while it's boiling, go ahead and start prepping. I always start with the meat. And Macy's is awesome. They have these packets where they're like already just ready to go. It's all trimmed for you and it's just gorgeous. So I'm just going to start with that by trimming the meat. And I like thinly sliced chicken. And it looks like this one is already kind of thin. So I just want to, so again, now one thing with knives, I just barely just sharpened it really quick and it just cuts meat like butter. It's awesome. So I used to do cooking demos at Thanksgiving Point and years ago, and there was this guy who came to one of them, and he was a barbecuer, and he does a lot of Dutch oven cooking, and he has his whole, like, I guess I could get one of these. He's really professional. Like, he has this, he rolled open his knife set, and he told everyone that the knives are all very similar. What you need to do is sharpen it more often, and that's what I didn't do. But since I learned that, I try to do it more often. So that makes it easier to cut your meat and vegetables once you sharpen it. And after I cut the chicken, I'll show you my little sharpener, because I will sharpen another one for my vegetables. So we're just cutting the chicken really thinly, and now you could use, like, probably for this amount of noodles, I would just do maybe a pound of chicken, or more or less. You can also use beef. And now I've also, if you're in a real hurry, you could also use ground beef, or like hamburger, if you want the meat in there. And if not, like I said before, you can also do just the chow mein part without having to have any meat. But doesn't Chinese chicken chow mein sound good? I love chicken over red meat. I know some of you differ. I do like red meat, but I do prefer chicken. So I just slice it thin, and so sometimes if you want smaller pieces, you can just go ahead and cut like that. So I think that's about what we need for our chow mein. I'm going to put that right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and start my vegetables. So I'm going to set aside this cutting board so I don't need to wash it. All right. Let me get another knife, and I'm going to show you how I sharpen it. I have these little, I just got on Amazon, and I just, you just take it and you just sharpen it. Now, I've seen the cooking shows where they have one of those long rods, and they go like this. But this is easier to me. So you just take it away from you and just sharpen it like that, okay? So let's go ahead and cut our veggies. Actually, let me do the, there's not a lot of veggies in the classic chow mein or chow mein. You basically do onions and carrots maybe, but onions and green onions. But I like it to look colorful, especially when I'm adding chicken. So I'm just gonna start with my garlic so I can be ready to add that garlic flavor in there. Just a little bit of garlic. Like for any stir fries, like a pan-fried noodles, right? So that one's almost peeled. I'll go ahead and cut that. And we'll have that one, and we have this one. I remember one show, they were trying to show me how to, one of the guests, she was trying to show me how to like peel garlic with a little shaker thing. And it didn't work that well, but that's okay. Maybe it was just I think garlic can be temperamental, like some of it, if it's older, but older garlic and more dry, so sometimes it's harder to peel. So, but I just like to cut it like this. I heard of, I thought about garlic presses, but I'm like, oh, another gadget, more clutter in my kitchen. So I just like to always do it this way. And I've also gotten already peeled garlic, which I do like for like certain dishes, but I feel like it's more dry and it doesn't have as much flavor, but that's okay. You can use that too. Okay, so there's my garlic, and let's go ahead and do my onion. Okay, I'm gonna check the noodles real quick. I just had it. I don't know if the guys are keeping timer for me. Probably not. I'm going to guess it's been about 3 minutes. So you can test by just looking at your noodles. Let me taste that. Okay. Tiny bit chewy, but you know what? You kind of want it chewy. Okay. I'm going to turn it down, let it sit for a minute while I cut my onion. I'll cook it a little bit longer, but because I didn't put a timer on it. Okay. So, and then I'm going to drain the noodles after I cut my onions. Okay, that's how I cut my onion. And we're just going to cut them in big pieces like that, almost like as a vegetable. Some people use onion just for flavor, but in a lot of stir fries, it's pretty and it adds a lot. It's more like, I like it a little crunchy, and so it actually is like a vegetable. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and, I'm cooking all over the place today. Let me go ahead and drain the noodles so it doesn't get too overcooked. I'm just going to take my colander and over here, and I'm going to drain it. Okay, so now my colander is drained. So I don't know, well, I know the cameras can't get to. I'm going to turn the cold water on a little bit just so it'll stop the cooking, so it doesn't get too overcooked, because even though you drain it, it's still hot and it's still cooking. So I'm just going to rinse it with cold water so it doesn't overcook. So I'm going to make sure that it's thoroughly rinsed out. Okay. I'll show it to you in a second. You want kind of a nice, chewy chow mein. Okay, I'm going to bring my little mat over here so we don't get water everywhere, but I want to show you. So you've got these, so it's kind of like that, and it's kind of chewy. Okay, that's good. Okay, almost like mushroom. Okay, so let's take a little break, and I will come back and we'll finish chopping up all these vegetables, and then we'll continue with our cooking. Okay, so come back. All right, welcome back. I'm just starting on the peppers, and this won't take me long. So again, I'm sure you've seen my other shows where I cut the peppers, and I'm not stressed about the seeds or anything. I mean, I like to just go like that, but if the seeds run a little bit, it's fine. So I like to cut it really thinly. You notice my sharpened knife. But you don't have to cut it really thinly. You can just do whatever. There's a little piece that I didn't want. So, and then I cut it lengthwise, and then I just make, depending on the size, something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. So let's do the red peppers also. Again, like there's lots of color that I love with this. And you could go like that also. Oops. Okay, and then, I mean, again, sometimes I'm in a hurry and I just randomly cut, however, but it'll still be really pretty. So I'm going to just turn it around and do a few chopping chunks here. Okay, now we have your onions, your peppers, you have your garlic right there that I'm going to start with. I've got my wok going here, so I'm going to start on my chicken and brown my garlic, add a little oil there. Maybe like 3 tablespoons, and we may add a little bit more as we stir fry the noodles, so to keep it from sticking, but I don't think it'll stick, but okay, there we go, there's the garlic. It wasn't quite, I should have waited for it to get a little hot, but it'll be fine, it'll just cook really quickly. So kind of watch your garlic because you don't want to burn garlic. If you burn the garlic, you have to start all over again. You do not want the burnt garlic taste in any of your food. It's just not good. But it's okay if it gets really dark. Okay, so we got that going, and now I'm going to do the sauce, and you can measure, of course, but it's about, for this many, it's about 2 tablespoons of dark soy. Now people will wonder what's the difference between dark soy and the regular soy. It's a little bit less salty and a little bit more sweet. Although this one, I don't know why that doesn't taste as sweet. You know what, I'm gonna grab a different one. Well, I'm glad I tasted that because it doesn't taste as sweet as I had wanted. It's called black soy, sweet soy or black soy sauce. Okay, I'm just gonna pour that out right there. Okay, so I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of this, oh no, my garlic's getting brown, of the sweet soy. 1, and it's coming out slow, and 2. Okay. Now see that color of that garlic, I'm gonna add my chicken. Get my, right there. That's perfectly browned garlic. You want to brown it with the oil so you can get that flavor in there. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to let it cook a little bit. Okay, so I've got about 2 tablespoons of the sweet black soy, and then I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of light soy. You can use regular soy also. So light soy is a little bit less salty also. And then oyster sauce. So Chinese cooking, when you do stir fries, oyster sauce is the key ingredient. In Thai cooking, it's the fish sauce. So I'm going to get that 1 and 2. About 2 tablespoons. And then we want to add about, I'm doing double duty here. So we're going to make sure that chicken gets cooked all the way, so I'm going to keep stirring it. Okay, I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons or even 3 teaspoons of sugar, and then a little bit of salt. I want to say like a teaspoon of salt. You can always add more salt. That was not quite a teaspoon. And that's it. So I've got the chicken. I'm going to toss it this way because this spatula it's not flat enough. So now boneless, skinless chicken, there's not a lot of flavor. So every time I cook with boneless, skinless chicken, I like to add some chicken paste or chicken broth, or the chicken bouillon powder. So I'm just going to do this. See, it's still pink. I know it'll cook a little bit longer, a little bit more while we're cooking the other stuff. So it's a little pink, but it's almost done. So I'm going to go ahead and toss in my onions, my peppers and my onions, and it'll cook it further. I like to add the green onions last and toss it in there while it's hot. I mean, it's okay if you get a few in there. Again, it's not exact science of how you do this. Okay. I mean, that, you like that. It's almost like a little stir fry, right? Okay. I'm going to break up the onions a little bit. See how you have those little chunks in there, how it's like layered together. Okay, hang on. Let me get my chicken paste or chicken broth. I always have this on hand, so I always have the chicken broth on here. I'll just use my knife because just like a little bit like that. I would say a half teaspoon or a teaspoon if you like more. But you don't want to put too much because it'll change the flavor a little bit. Gosh, I'm being a mess today. So that little bit will add a lot of flavor to your noodles. Okay. All right. So now, I don't want to waste all these beautiful vegetables, right? So now you toss in the sauce. So pan-fried noodles, chow mein, the classic, I think I might have said it before, you don't add chicken. The classic one is that you don't add any meat. You just have onions and the chow mein, like how they serve at the Panda Express. Okay, I'm gonna toss this in, and that's it. Oh, you guys, amazing. All right, let's take a little break and we'll come back and finish this off. Yummy, look at that. All right, you guys, that's it. And it doesn't take long because the noodles already cooked, the chicken, I already cooked it, and so we just threw in the onions at the very last. And like I said, it's gonna be, if you can do the plain, if you want it to be just like Panda, you don't have to put any meat or veggies. You just add they just put cabbage and onions or something like that, right? Ah, doesn't that look yummy? Let's see, I was just gonna put it in a pan, but you know what? I think it looks lovely in a wok. Let's just leave it in a wok. How's that? I think I'm gonna leave it in the wok. All right, look at that. Or maybe, well, anyways, we'll figure it out, but I'm gonna taste it. I'm trying to think how pictures would look. I'll just do it like that. I love the wood here. So maybe I'll just wipe it down a little bit from the cutting. And I'm gonna put my bowls right here. Wipe down some sauce. All right, let me put some in a bowl for the picture. Ooh, look at that, you guys. Doesn't that look so amazing? Who does not like noodles on occasion here. That's a big serving, right? But look at how easy and quick it makes, like make a meal, especially when you add your chicken and everything. Okay, I'm gonna leave that in here. I'm gonna put this here. Wipe it off a little bit. Let's see. Put some chicken up there. Guess we could go like that. How's that? Yeah, I don't know. We could do that and we'll figure it out. I'm gonna stick it like that. I think it looks fun. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna taste some too. And let's see, I'm just gonna taste it myself like this. I'm not gonna eat oatmeal right now. You guys, oh my goodness, maybe I will put it in a bowl. Oh, because you know why? I love, I'll taste it like this. You've got to have sriracha. There, you got to, you know, you guys know that sriracha is Thai. You've got to have sriracha. And so, even though I'm making Chinese, I like to, I always add sriracha. Put a little bit in my bowl. I guess I am hungry. Put a little sriracha on there. And now there's a lot of Chinese individuals in Thailand. So we're kind of like one big happy family in Thailand. So a lot of influences there. So I had a little sriracha. I'm going to have another bite. Oh, let's do the onion in there. Gosh, if I didn't know how to use a chopstick. I am hungry and that's so good. I love the texture of these noodles. So you've got to go to Macy's and get these noodles, and the Asian store has some different ones too. But look how easy it was, and they're just so authentic looking. And there's different sizes and styles of noodles, but this one is so good. So you guys, quick dinner, quick meal on Cooking Mateys with June, brought to you by Macy's. Till next time, happy cooking.